Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Ashe updated complete guide for patch 3.2 onwards. So now, obviously, I have mentioned before that the three ADCs that will always use Lethal Tempo and will basically never take Conquer again for sure are Vayne, Jinx, and Ashe. Now these three are the definitive people or definitive champions, I guess you could say, that definitely want to take Lethal Tempo over Conqueror. Now there are of course other champions like Kai'Sa, Xayah, and Caitlyn who can go for either or, and kind of depends on the situation and your personal preference as well. But for these three champions, no two ways about it, they're gonna have to take Lethal Tempo. I tend to just mix up the runes nowadays. I realize that in my rune analysis I also was referring to Lethal Tempo as Conqueror the entire time until I finally realized that, it's supposed to be Lethal Tempo. But anyways, Ashe, with the new Lethal Tempo, definitely feels a lot better to play. But how strong is she really? I'm not quite sure, because I'm going to be doing a tier list video after this one, so I will see how I rank her against the other ADCs, but I don't think she's as weak now. She's definitely not the weakest ADC. However, I don't think she's that strong, basically. I think she's at the bottom half of the ADC tier list, but I think that with Lethal Tempo, she is way better. Anyways, as usual for all these updated complete guides, I'll refer you guys to the original updated complete guide for the skills and leveling order in the interest of time. But yeah, so with that, we can jump into the builds, the runes, and the spells. Alright, so here we have the build runes and spells for Ashe. And this build is actually one that I have covered in my previous updated complete guide for patch 3.1 plus just less than a month ago. So I will also link that video up in the cards for you guys to check out if you want a very in-depth explanation for the build, because I'm planning to more or less skim through the build so that we can spend more time on talking about the runes basically. So first up, you want Blade of the Rune King. Now, the reason you need this is for mainly the lifesteal and the drain. Now, firstly, the drain helps you to chase down enemies who are escaping, or helps you to basically kite enemies who are chasing you in conjunction with your slow on your passive, of course. Next up, you need it for the lifesteal. Now, why do you need it for the lifesteal? Because I've tested it out many builds without Blade of the Rune King, and all the other builds you get like one shot or you just die really easily. You really need it for the lifesteal, so that you can have at least some kind of dueling potential. So that's really why you need it. Now, Runaan's Hurricane, Ashe is still utility based ADC. You're not really there for the full on damage. You're more there for the utility. So Runaan's Hurricane to spread the slow onto 3 targets, and also with the new Lethal Tempo, you can spread that really quickly. Then IE, of course, for the increased slow, because as we know, Ashe doesn't do increased crit damage, she gets an increased slow. And also for, of course, the AD. Then we, of course, have more reminder for the grievous wounds, as well as the penetration, and GA for the revive. Other item options include items like, of course, the Wit's End. I think it's your main item, go-to item if you want to have some magic defense, a magic resist. We have, Storm Razor is also a viable item. If your GA is down, you can also replace it with something like a Solari Church Blade, but that's more or less the item options. Manamune also there is also a Manamune build for Ashe, which I don't quite recommend at the moment. Now there is also another like sort of a hyper carry kind of build that you can go, which is to basically go for something like Storm Razor into IE, like the standard Storm Razor into IE build. Then you can go for something like Runaan's Hurricane, or you can even go for something like a Bloodthirster, so you can have some form of lifesteal. But I really don't like this build, as you guys know. It's definitely not the build that I recommend. I recommend this kind of build. So yeah, and also the boots should be defensive boots, not Gluttonous Grease. Should be some kind of defensive boots with normally a stasis. Portal Belt can also work if you need that dash. So now, Lethal Tempo. Onto the runes, obviously. Lethal Tempo. It's pretty obvious why this one is good on Ashe. Basically, the main problem with Ashe on Conqueror was that she had really low attack speed. Even though you have 2 attack speed items, her attack speed still isn't the best. With the Lethal Tempo, you can really feel the difference. Like, when you charge up your passive, it has 6 stacks. You tap on that passive, tap on your Q, start attacking people, and you can feel the ramping attack speed, and they realize that they're slowed, and they really can't get away, and you start DPSing them so much that it's just insane. Now, Conqueror technically gives you more damage, while Lethal Tempo gives you more DPS, but with that DPS and the slow, it really feels like you're doing more damage even though you really are not. You're actually doing less damage, just that you're doing less damage more often compared to more damage less often, if you guys catch my drift. So, but with the less damage more often, really feels like you're doing more damage overall, because you do have higher DPS. So, Lethal Tempo is absolutely amazing on Ashe, is the only rune you want to take on Ashe. So what I like to do, so I have more, not only do I have more damage, but so that my team does more damage to the enemies as well, is to take weakness, because when you throw your W onto the enemy team, or if you are auto-attacking them with your Q, especially with the Rune's Hurricane, whichever target is slowed will of course take extra damage because of the weakness, so your whole team can do more damage to them. Now here, of course, second slot, there's a lot of flexibility. Here you can go for Hunter Titan, you can go for a Bone Plating if you're against Heavy Burst, or you can go for Nullifying Orb if you need a better laning phase, or you're just one of the people who enjoy Nullifying Orb. I am sort of trying out Nullifying Orb a lot, and I do kind of like it, but I still like Hunter Titan better majority of the time. So on the last one, you want a Mana Flow ban, because Ashe, especially without the mana, runs out of mana really easily, so you really need that Mana Flow ban to get that extra bit of mana, so you can cast your W and of course your Q as well whenever you need to. So Mana Flow ban absolutely essential. For the spells, we have the Flash and we have the Exhaust. Of course, Exhaust, go to ADC spell at the moment. And if you don't like it, you can always go for Barrier as well. So now with all that out of the way, we can jump straight into the gameplay. Okay, so moving on to the gameplay. Now as usual, when we get to this point of the updated complete guide, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, leave them in the comments below, and I will of course be addressing them or even giving it a heart. So anyways, here, as you guys can see, we are in game and we have a Janna with us. Now of course Ashe has no mobility, so Janna is going to be really helpful in peeling, especially champions like Fiora and Echo who want to dive us, keep them away. So in this match, we're up against a Caitlyn and Lux, and you will see that Caitlyn Lux is one of the most popular bot lanes now, because Caitlyn of course is one of the best ADCs at the moment. You will see in the tier list that I'll be releasing probably tomorrow or the day after. And Lux is one of the best supports for Caitlyn, the other one being Morgana. So, it's going to be a little bit of a rough laning phase, but I will say that probably one of the best ADC matchups against Caitlyn will actually be Ashe, because Ashe with her poke, it isn't too bad. So here, as you guys can see, Caitlyn is completely out of position. I walk face first into the Lux binding, but I do exhaust the Caitlyn. Unfortunately, they do get the first blood, and now I'm one-on-one versus that Lux. Now in comes the Katarina, good rotation, in she comes for the kill. I flash, but after flashing, I realized that, oh no, the Echo has a red buff, so I realized that I wasted my flash there and I am dead. But overall, a pretty even trade. Pretty much it's a 2-for-2 trade. Katarina getting a kill there is really good, of course, for the Katarina snowball, and really nice sharp rotation by the Katarina. Alright, so if you guys also notice on my team, I have a Katarina, a huge AP carry. I have a Graves, who is another huge ADC, and we also have a Darius, who is going to mainly be the only frontline of the team. Now, I personally like picking Ashe when my team has damage, because Ashe really doesn't have a lot of damage. She, as I said, is a lot more utility, so basically I'm expecting the Graves and the Katarina to be the ones doing the damage here, which is why in my solo queue tier list I can't really rank her up too high, because you can't really carry the game on Ashe. At least I find it really hard to carry the game on Ashe. I mean, you can if you get fed and everybody else in your team is feeding. You can be the one carrying the game, but I think Ashe's preferred playstyle is to have someone else carry the game for her, and she just stays in the backline, chunks out those slows, chunks out those arrows, the huge enchanted crystal arrow for the stuns, for the picks. And I think that's her preferred playstyle. Her preferred playstyle is not being the main carry and having like 3 tanks in front of her. I think somebody like a Jinx would like that, but not really an Ashe. So Ashe prefers more for like someone to help her carry the game. In this case, we have 2 huge options there. Here, Caitlyn kind of roots herself, gets hit by absolutely everything. My ult, Janna's tornado, everything, and pretty much just dies. So one of the common problems with playing Caitlyn is your ult not your ult, actually your ult as well. Your ult and your Q CCs yourself to the spot. So if you use it at a wrong position, you can get yourself messed up by the enemy CC, as you guys saw there. So we just chain CC'd my ult into the Janna ult, and she pretty much couldn't really do too much about it, and she just dies. Also notice our mana is running out pretty quickly, which is why I mentioned that you do actually need mana flow ban on Ashe, so that you don't just completely run out of mana. Without the mana flow ban here, we probably would have had no mana at all already. So unfortunately, Katarina does come up on the rotation. I give her the thumbs up for the effort, but me and the Janna do have to back and get ourselves some items. So here, Janna goes off roaming. So here, as usual, being the ADC, if your support roams, and nothing wrong with that, your support doesn't have to stay with you all the time. Especially in this particular game where you want to get like the Katarina or the Graves fed. You don't necessarily want to get the Ashe fed. So not really an issue if Janna goes ahead and roams, tries to help out the Katarina, get a kill. But that also means that I'm 2v1 in the lane, so I gotta be really careful like that not to get hit by the binding. I think if I get hit by the binding there, I do think I die. Because binding into trap, into a headshot, into a net, into another headshot, and into a whole lot of other DPS, I think I die. Either way, here comes Katarina and Janna. So I try to engage with my enchanted crystal arrow, but Katarina a little bit too slow on the play, so we don't actually end up getting anything out of it. Still though, it was a good attempt by me and my team to try to get a pick. Now Lux obviously doesn't quite realize that there is a ward right next to her, so she does get hit by a fully charged Janna tornado. Caitlyn and Lux a little bit split up, so here I'm trying to get some damage onto the Caitlyn while she's split from the Lux. As you guys can see, we do decent damage. In comes Echo, so we got to hightail it out of there. I do get hit by the stun, but it's all good. Don't actually end up taking that much damage, probably due to Janna's shield. Janna's shield highly underrated. In fact, all shields like Lulu shield, everything is highly underrated. But they do actually block off a whole load of damage when used at the optimal time. Now in the meantime, Graves and Darius trying to pick up the Rift Herald in the bot lane while the enemy team is trying to pick up the Dragon. So not too much of a point for us to contest here with our jungle not around. But I do see that Echo is low, and Echo is really squishy as a jungler. So I do think that we were trying some shenanigans here. Now no point for us to DPS the Dragon, which is why I kind of stopped attacking it. Here Echo comes in, I hit him with my enchanted crystal arrow, and here I'm going to try to secure the Dragon. There we go, I do get the Dragon and flash away from Caitlyn's ult, which I was about to tank. In comes Fiora as well as pretty much the entire rest of the team. Here we finish off the Fiora, and it becomes a 2v2 or 3v3, I guess you could say, between the enemy bot lane as well as us and the Graves. Graves goes in, gets himself a double kill, but he's gonna die to Caitlyn. Caitlyn pops the barrier, and me and Jen are pretty low, so we can't really contest that. Really long extended fight over the Dragon, but overall, I would say it probably wasn't the best idea for us to contest without our jungler there. But we made the best of the situation. The Echo made a mistake, jumped in way too early, ate the enchanted crystal arrow, and he dies, which allowed us to get the steal off onto the Dragon. So we basically take what's given to us, and yeah, probably the best case scenario for us there. Actually, this is actually the best case scenario basically, but probably the optimal move there was for us to actually retreat. But the play did end up working out. Sometimes you do get those lucky kind of coin flip plays. And yeah, so everything just works out. So here we're going to have to rotate back over to the top lane where the Lux and Caitlyn are trying to push down our tower. I tried to hit my enchanted crystal arrow, but it kind of misses the Caitlyn, and Lux tries to shoot out a combo which hits basically nobody. Here I'm trying to fight them. I'm tanking a little bit of the minions. As you guys can see, lethal tempo, really fast attack speed. Here I'm blocking the ult for the Janna. Nice tornado by Janna onto the Caitlyn to disrupt her. Lux comes back in, and here I'm trying to kill one of them. There we go. I get the kill onto the Lux and tank a tower shot. So I'm gonna have to get out of dodge so that Caitlyn can kill me. She doesn't actually have ult anymore, so not too much threat of that. And Janna just kills the Caitlyn. So no big deal there. So we end up getting everything we need, and we are also going to end up getting the tower. I was planning to recall here, but I realized that there is no threat, and we can get the tower. So obviously I want to stay around so I can at least get the gold, local gold from the tower falling. And in comes Echo, but he's way too late, so I'm going to just recall, get myself some items as well as some health. So 4-1 and 5 now. We're doing actually pretty well. Katarina 2-1 and 1, and Graves 3 and 1 in comparison. So I'm technically having a lot more gold and a lot more KDA than them. Actually, no, Graves has more gold than me. He has a strange build though. He has the rapid fire cannon. So here is something that you want to be doing. You always want to look out for a chance to engage, especially when you're walking on a base, because shooting the arrow from base makes the stun really long. I was thinking that if I engaged there, Katarina could go in, but Katarina decided against it. That wasn't the best idea, which is fine. Still, it's still the correct move to, of course, try to launch your ult whenever you can to try to get a pick. So here comes Katarina and Graves for the gank, but we got CC there, so we couldn't really chase with them. So they're way up in front of us, and they will be the ones getting the kills, and we are just pretty much just following along and seeing if we can actually help on any way, but doesn't look like they need it. Here, not Caitlyn, Annie has the ult, and she has the full stacked passive, so I don't want to go anywhere near her. Janna unfortunately eats that Annie ult right there, and she dies. So here we're gonna just try to back off, using my W to slow them down. She ends up pretty low from that Graves. And here I'm just trying to get damage onto the Echo. I exhaust him to try to prevent him from getting the kill on the Graves, and I am actually successful in actually defending the Graves, and I do actually end up getting the kill onto her as well. Here I follow up with my full stack lethal tempo onto the Lux. But there really is nowhere for me to run because the mid lane tower is still up, so basically I'm going to just die to the Caitlyn. I tried to run into the tower to get give the kill over to the Lux, which in comparison would be better than feeding the Caitlyn, but unfortunately she didn't manage to get a shot off on me before I managed to get hit by the tower, so she did actually manage to secure the kill. Not the most optimal scenario, but hey, you know, I was gonna die anyway, just trying to die to the person that will be least detrimental to me and my team. So here, Graves should be pretty strong now, 4-1 and 3. Not sure what's up with that rapid fire cannon there, but he should be pretty strong now. 2 items completed. Not pretty strong, but he's getting there. Katarina should be doing pretty well as well. Graves gets 1 shot by the Lux combo. In comes Darius and Katarina. Katarina gets the kill on Fiora, getting herself to the reset. Enemy team does manage to secure the Rift Herald while our team was distracted. Darius gets the dunk onto Annie, gets the reset, but he dies to Echo before he manages to ult him. And I respawn, show up to the party, and get the kill on the Echo. So of course I was focusing on the fight. Don't want to focus on me walking over to the fight because nothing interesting to see there. But yeah, as you can see, fight turned out relatively successfully. We didn't quite secure the Rift Herald, but we did get the couple of kills. Here, Caitlyn kind of caught our position, does pop the barrier. Here, I'm trying to just slow her down. Lux does show up, so we don't want to really fight them under the tower, so we're going to just pretty much retreat. We see blue buff up, so we're going to attempt a relatively risky steal. Now, this is definitely not that safe of a steal because we can't really see where the enemies are, but we're just going to try to do it anyways. Janna standing by in case we need help, so we do manage to actually steal their blue. Of course, denial of camps, especially buffs, is really important, and you should do it whenever you can. Not just the jungler, but everybody on the team can, of course, partake in stealing the enemy jungle. Echo is heading over to the dragon, of course. It is the Cloud Dragon, the probably most important / strongest dragon there. Nice smite by the Graves, and Echo tries to throw his body into the pit and does get hooked by the Darius and perma CC'd to death. He did have his ultimate there, but no chance to use it. One of the weaknesses of Echo, sometimes you think you have ult, you can go in, but you just get chain CC'd and you don't even have a chance to press it. So kind of unfortunate there for him. Here I'm trying to chase down the Caitlyn to get the kill onto her. Katarina does actually end up getting the kill eventually, which is great. And here, Janna does end up dying because Lux was 1 HP. I tried to kill her, I wasn't successful. And Janna flashed in and tried that as well, and she wasn't successful as well, and she died to the tower. Here I'm just trying to be a nuisance to stop the Annie from backing. I get hit by the Lux Q, and Echo flashes in for the kill onto me. Now, that was huge damage by the Echo. Echo does do a ludicrous amount of damage, but he is also very squishy. So I guess that's kind of balanced. So do get 1 shot by the Echo in this scenario. Yeah, so 8-3 and 7 overall still really good. We do have our Runan's Hurricane completed some time ago, which allows us to, of course, spread the passive, which is, of course, what we really want to do. So here, no objectives on the map. We're dead as well, of course, so can't really be doing anything. But yeah, so here, basically, we just want to stay with our team, group up, and see if we can, you know, either we don't particularly want to find a fight because there isn't really anything to fight over. But you know, we do of course want to just stick together and not get picked off. So here, my entire team is basically in the bottom side of the map. We find ourselves a rogue Caitlyn. I hit the enchanted crystal arrow into the end of the line, and Caitlyn pretty much just dies. Lux, caught between a rock and a heart, plays Proto Belt forward to participate in the Lux kills. I did decide to go for Proto Belt in this match because basically, aside from Echo, no one can really one-shot me. I guess if I get hit by Lux's combo or Annie's combo, I might get one-shot, but in that scenario, I would be stunned, so I wouldn't even manage to Zanya, so I don't really think it would matter. I think Proto Belt is just way better for like escaping Echo's W, running away from the Fiora, dodging, you know, the Lux ear, or you know, etc, etc. In comes Fiora trying to interfere with our Baron, and here I'm just trying to zone the enemies away. A little bit dangerous, but you're just trying to zone the enemies away. Annie flashes into Tibbers, but only really hits Janna, so not the most valuable target for sure. I dodged the Lux ult, no chances taken there. And we do end up basically cleaning up the fight, mainly the Graves. And I pretty much know that my team has the fight settled, so instead I'm going to go over to the mid lane to stop the Rift Herald from crashing into our tower, basically wasting the enemy's Rift Herald, just pushing in the wave. And yeah, not too much we can do aside from that. I'm just going to take the fruit. I actually tried to engage on the Lux there, because if I did manage to do that, I think I can probably get a pick onto her, and the enemy team does end up surrendering. So anyways, I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.